Okay, so I thought maybe I can help you with the election. Because really, if you've lived long enough, there are things that come together in your head. It's amazing. And then, but I think because of God, I don't think I could be like that without God. And women can be pretty amazing sometimes with um, pulling together and having insights and stuff. Uh, but I don't think you can be that without God. But it's just that, okay, I mean, on both sides, really, of the two parties, there, you don't really, I mean, things are just too ridiculous. Uh, I was Republican, I guess. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not too sold on it right now. It's not black and white for me. In the past, I didn't always vote Republican, but then I was young and dumb. Can't say as I really knew what I was doing. Like in the case of Clinton, he was a guy with a cute Oreo cat sitting on his shoulder. You know, I don't think I had very educated. I wasn't very educated or anything about it. Uh, I can't really say that I knew that well what I was doing, but now it's not so black and white for me, and I just people they want to be with a team. They want to be absolutely sure about the team they're on. They want to have just absolute confidence. Oh gosh, okay. So is it January 2021 now? After the election, people were just going nuts at that. So I just saw that movie, God and Country, and then because I wasn't at that time, I did not have much access to look at stuff or anything because I was living like a gypsy out of my car. But I look at that, I see that movie, and I mean, those people, they're, and I've been aware of a growing problem that with that churches. I mean, they're not. No, I mean, we have such apostate Christianity. It's not real Christianity. It's trying to make politics out of your religion out of your politics. It's not it's not genuine Christianity. And they're just so sure of themselves, like they're so dang sure of themselves. Why does that always accompany being wrong? I mean, it takes me back to hearing about the political church of old. A terribly political church, and the oh God, okay. The Inquisition, because I was going to say insurrection again. The Inquisition, cheaper, where people they were sure about what they were doing. They were sure. They're always sure about it. Oh my goodness. And just the problem I see is people are so afraid. Like they're so afraid of control, and they're so afraid of they're so afraid of control. And really, control is already happening in ways that aren't just your leader. Uh, because we don't have that we have a different system, and within the system there's all kind of control that I think is more sorcerous, and people should be more concerned about that. But so people are right; they're real concerned about control, and like then I guess they thought that it was rigged, and so they didn't get the candidate of their choice. And so then they're getting really worried. But now I understand. Like people on the left, okay, they have been very concerned too and paranoid. And this is one of the reasons they act the way they do. I remember years ago, I was living in California, and there were people who were talking to me about the Christian right, and that they were real paranoid of the Christian right. And then I thought that they were just talking about people who actually had faith in Christ, and they're who are actual believers. And I realized now that's not what they meant. They were worried about what this, they're worried about false Christianity. They're worried about false faith and about people overly confident that they're, very righteous when they're not, you know, and things like that. And just the way that people can get, just the way they get, you think of things like the Inquisition and look at how they can get what they can do and think that they're right, or that just overbearing old Catholic Church, the church that was, before the Reformation. Well, so I mean they were always worried about that. So that explains a lot. But then okay, so like I was reading in the New York Times where it was saying that people, Republicans are generally working class, using the word class, but so that, but they were saying they didn't understand why it is that they wouldn't want some of the things that are available through the Democrats, because a lot of times they're not even the ones getting taxed. They're not in an income bracket where they're the ones getting so heavily taxed. Plus, they often, if things fall out on them, there are things made available by the Democrats for them, right? And I'm benefiting from those things right now because I've had some things fall out for me, and I'm getting help that comes from Democrat program. And I think you just, oh my gosh, I mean, so they're wondering why it is that, and really that's a good question. And there's a need for people to stop being so frenzied. I think more than anything, there's a lack of faith in God. People are all paranoid and worried because they're not trusting God. And like those people claiming to be so Christian, they're not really trusting in God when they act like that. A couple of police officers killed themselves in the process. One of them probably from sleep deprivation. He didn't sleep for like 3 days. That's really bad, So but I feel really heartbroken because I know a lot of people like this. They come from situations. I'm reading about places in America that are considered really bad. Places like out on the east, like Detroit, places like that where they had types of industries like auto industry, and those shut down. And so a lot of people didn't have their jobs. And there's other things like steel workers and stuff in Ohio. So there's all these people, and there's just terrible suffering from lack of income and communities just becoming so unhealthy. Then they're talking about towns, cities that have become so unhealthy, and so people like that, they're so miserable, and they don't know what it is really they need. They're not. So if they're turning to having a leader as a solution, that's not a good way to find a solution. They really should be looking to God to help them out, help them get out of that. But in that situation, they're so miserable, and then they are looking for a leader to help them, and a lot of times those are the people who need help. So then they are wanting to be Dems because they need that kind of help. But Republicans, like, they're so worried about, things financial for them. And like, they're just so worried. And they're saying a lot of those are those people who everything's fallen out for them, and they're in a poverty level. Jeepers, man. What a mess, I think it's time to first of all trust in God, before getting all frenzied about. People have gotten too frenzied on either of the political sides that we have, and it's just ridiculous. That was nuts.